So we're live now. Just wait for people. Hi, Hassan. Just gonna wait for people to. Trying to get more people. So, hi everyone. We're going to start pretty soon. Just trying to get more people to join in. Hello, John. Welcome. So please, as you're joining in, just drop in the comments. Just drop hi or something in the comments. Just waiting to have more people on the call before I start. Hello, hello. So we're starting in 3 minutes. Hello, Gideon. Welcome, welcome. Session starts soon. If you can hear me well, please drop in the comments and confirm that you can hear me. Hi, Gideon. Can you hear me? Hi, John. Can you hear me? Hi, Azan. Can you hear me? Thank you very much, Gideon. Um, so we're just waiting for a few more people to join. Um, Thank you very much, John, for confirming. Waiting for a few more people to join the call before we start today. The purpose of this session is to present more opportunities to people and speak about um, the side of tech that we don't hear about more, right? I think the very technical side of tech is often the most talked about, right? So we're just going to try to, shine light on other sectors that you can leverage, and still have a very fantastic career, in tech, right? And I think why this conversation is very important is to also help people know that some careers actually afford you more flexibility than others, and some even offer you more opportunities than others. Some have more advantage than the others. Now, this is not to put down any other career or career choice within the tech space. It's just to have, it's just to give you more options, right, to work with, especially if you're at a point where you're looking to turn your life around in 2025. I think this is a perfect session for you, and this is the perfect time for you to have this kind of talk, right? Because this is July. It means that you have relatively 6 months, to recalibrate and get things moving, right? So I think it's important that you hang around and then just listen in and take advantage of all the things that we speak about in this session. Hi, Alimi. Hi. Thank you for joining. So I'm just going to get into it. We've waited for 5 minutes, so hopefully people will join in, as we go. So with me today is Shemilore Akoni, and Shemilore is a chief marketing officer. And the reason why, when I was thinking about this conversation, I thought about all the problems and you know things people face, right? People take courses, people learn on YouTube, people pay thousands of dollars, pay thousands of naira, you know, to acquire skills, right? And the tech market is very competitive, very extremely competitive, right? And because of that, sometimes people get frustrated, depressed, tired, because they just don't feel like tech affords them that much opportunity, right? So the need for this conversation dropped for me by just looking at my own self, in 2019, 2018, how I thought about tech, and all that I knew about tech, right? And all I could find online about tech. It was just really centered towards the very core technical skills, right? So I think conversations like this need to happen so that everybody has all their cards on the table, and then we can decide what you want to, how you want to go and which of your cards you want to play, right? We're not trying to limit people, we're trying to present you more options and help you have like a level playing field. Good. Okay, so I'm going to bring Shimluri up on stage so that he's going to by himself tell us about him, maybe a little bit about his, journey into tech, journey into marketing, and then we develop the conversation from there. So join me in welcoming Shimluri. Hi, Shimluri.
Hi Priscillia, how you doing?
I'm very well. How are you doing today?
I'm very well, thank you.
It's good to have you. So I just did like a preamble of what the conversation is going to be about, and why we're having the conversation, why this conversation is important, and what it would do for the people who are listening in, right? It's majorly to present them with more options. This is not a put down, on any of any other tech career or tech role, right? It's just to open up more opportunities, telling you that okay, there are other things that you can take advantage of within the tech space. So before then, I wanted you to do like a quick intro and maybe a little bit about your backstory into marketing.
All right, thank you very much, Priscilla. My name is Oluwasemiloore Akoni. I work in marketing. I don't say I'm the head of marketing. I just say I work in marketing because I feel like it's too it's too serious to to talk about. I studied law in the University of Lagos actually, but I honed my skills in marketing via self enablement and self learning. And how did this happen? Um, 10 years ago, I started off with working with influencers and the likes in 2014, and I realized I could learn more and be better. So I worked in agency for about a year, and I learned a lot of things in agency. Then during the COVID year, I started working formally in tech marketing, all self-taught. So during that COVID period, I went on YouTube a lot, Coursera that year too, and Udemy to self-learn myself. And I started paying for courses I think a year after, but my foundations were self-taught, and I was doing about 8 hours a day in learning because moving from law to marketing is not a one fit
Is
all.
that
It's
a
not an
usual? Is that a usual transition that everyone is used to?
exactly.
Yeah.
So I had to learn, and I was used to reading already and learning already, so I just made that switch to tech marketing, and it's been, will I say, the best move of my life so far because honestly, I don't see myself in the courtroom or doing anything else rather than marketing to brands and to people. So that's really my backstory as regards my journey into tech marketing. But formally, I have experience of 5 years, but informally, I have about 11 years experience in marketing.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. But would you say, there was like a blueprint for you to make that switch from law to marketing? Or did you have to dabble into so many things before you found your path? Right? It's like how easy was it for you to move from law? Because I'd say that's very audacious, really.
Okay.
Moving from law to marketing. I mean, if you had said that to an average Nigerian parent, they would have said, "Are you okay?" Right? Because I feel like law, number one, is a prestigious career, and marketing is often a put down, right? I mean, growing up, marketers were not really like regarded as people who were serious with their career or doing anything special. So how was that? How was that transition for you, like moving from law to marketing? A little bit about that transition, and how you were able to navigate all of it.
Oh yes, it really happened when I think one day I was in court and rain was falling and I was just frustrated and I was like, would I really want to do this all my life? You know. And
Was
prior
it
to
just
that,
was it just the rain?
it was just accumulated like anger already, So and previously from 2014 already, I was already doing the PRO gigs, in uni and the like. So I had the basic experience. But obviously, you need to grow in everything you do. Every day
Yeah,
till today, I still read and learn new things because you cannot know it all. So I
yeah,
kept reading, I kept learning things, I kept doing courses up and down to make sure I moved with the trends because basically I still have friends that got stuck in working with influencer marketing until now they're still there and they've lost relevance, you know. So that's why I had to move from being an influencer marketing to tech marketing properly. You understand? I had to learn
yeah.
these things. If you do not learn and if you don't improve yourself, you'll be left behind. And in this current climate that we're in this country, you know that that's a bad sign for you.
Okay. Thank you for that. That makes sense. That makes sense. So yeah, I'm just going to go straight into. I think that's a good intro, and I think we are still going to touch on some of these things, as we go. Um, so when people think about tech careers, I think people immediately think coding, software engineering, and I think that's the same case with me, right? When I was in school, I was in environmental science, and there's a lot of buildings, layouts in what I've done, but I've always been someone who was interested in tech, right? So even when I was studying like my course, I was very hands-on on AutoCAD, um, remote sensing tools, like different tools that were used to make things easy, right? As far as environmental science was concerned. So when I got an opportunity to transition to tech, for NYSC, the first few options that came to mind for me was either to be a front end developer or a back end developer. There was really nothing else, because even at that time, being a designer, maybe like a website designer, was not really as um it wasn't they didn't necessarily regard it as a tech skill. Like, it just really looked like it was just the people who were coding that were core tech guys, right? So that really influenced my decision and made me go into software development, and I was doing backend for some time. I'm going to get into that story maybe later on, but yeah, I wanted to ask you that, how did marketing open those doors for you? Like, um how did marketing help you move into tech, and how is that going for you so far?
Okay, yeah, and thank you for that, Priscilla. So as regards marketing, yeah, I think it was not really seamless in the sense that when I moved into it, it was the early days of COVID, like, and obviously people don't want to test or don't want to pay untested um, expertise you get. So it was a lot of cold pitching, cold emailing to brands and people that what I can offer. But I mainly had just experience with agency then, and with influencers too. So it quite a hassle to get jobs and things. However, after 6 months, things just blew up in the sense that when I started talking about me in the communities, like, okay, this person is very good. He has worked with me for a month, for 2 months. I mean, some results. So I actually have gotten all my jobs via referral. In my past 5 years of working as a marketing expert, I've done one interview before. It's always referral or they push me to the next company. So I just start up and I start working, you
Yeah.
understand? So, I feel like it's more of, having that drive to learn and to um, have impact because basically people don't see marketing as data driven. They see it as fanfare
Mhm.
or clout and the likes. But,
Yeah.
with marketing, yes, you need to understand that it's data that serves what you're going to do. If it's your posting, if it's your growth cycle, if it's your marketing ads or PPCs you get. So you need to
Yeah.
know exactly what your goal is for. That's why I always say that in marketing, I feel like there are a lot of roles that you can do that affect marketing. For one, so you can do content marketing. You good with camera, good with phones. You can write properly. Those are roles in content marketing. You can also do stuff like um, UX writing, and that in itself too have marketing experience because you need to know how to copyright and write copies and know the end user's product positioning to write these things. So it's all intertwined with marketing. Then like you know too, um, I think in Nigeria it's only place that we have one HOM and 10 GDs. You understand? I've worked with foreign
Yeah.
brands that we can be 11 in a marketing team, and
Yeah.
to be one person for pay-per-click ads, one for growth,
Yeah.
one for go, one for you understand. So it's a lot of of roles that you can do, but you need to hone your skills because everybody is doing the same thing at the same time. But it's how your work converts that will speak for you. And at the end of the day, when you're doing your monthly review or your 3 month assessment, your company, you need to show them data that okay, what I did, growth conversion, and this is why we should continue and what have you. So yes, I think that's basically it for me.
Okay. Thank you for that, Shemilere. But it got me thinking, you know, so when you decided to make that transition, what was exactly um what inspired that transition, right? Away from the fact that you've been dabbling into marketing, right? I'm trying to figure out if from the get-go you've had interest in tech or you had to work in other parts of marketing before deciding to now move to maybe like a tech company or a product-led company or whatnot. Like, how did you make that decision to transition, or did the decision to move to tech, right, come while you were in marketing? I just really wanted to know if it's
Oh
from
yes.
inception, right, or it was
So,
along the line.
so basically, um, I saw that people were doing marketing wrongly, and I didn't like it. You understand? I had to come in and in fact, my first ever startup here, I worked for free. Yes, for a year because that was because I said that we were doing it wrongly and wasting money. I think in 2020, about 8 million naira was spent on the marketing initiatives, all wasted. And I came in and I did drives without a budget, and I got about 1K people on the waiting list within 2 months. You understand? So that's why I think I've tried or I thrive in seeing issues and plugging them for founders basically because
Yeah.
I, mean, I see many tools products are currently very good, but the issue is that they're not well pushed. You understand? Hence, you lose relevance. And next thing you're seeing, the folding up, you're packing up, money
Yeah.
is gone, and the likes. That's why my main drive was to make an impact in the basically to show that
I think
go
your
about
network,
influencers or
Shemilere,
fancy work or
I think we're
can you hear
losing
me?
you. Yeah, we lost you for a bit. We lost you for a
Okay,
bit.
can you see where you heard me last so I can continue?
Um, what was the last thing I heard? Sorry, I was distracted when the internet skipped
Yeah.
up. But maybe just backtrack for like 2 minutes, like from the
Okay,
last
okay,
two
yes.
minutes.
So basically, I said that I wanted tech because basically I said that people were building good products. However, it
Okay.
wasn't reaching the right audiences due to when people not having the experience or the expertise to push these products. In the sense that everybody feels like clout is marketing, you know, but it's way deeper than that. You, you have to know your data. You need to review your good processes, your life cycles to make sure at every point in time customers are engaged and to retain and reduce churn basically. So that was my whole
Yeah.
idea behind or my drive behind marketing as a whole. So yes, from 2014 I already had the idea of marketing and I worked in marketing places, but it was not the tech industry. So I brought that experience to tech and it just worked out for me in the sense that because in agency work, you know, data is important. You understand? So that just moved to tech marketing too, and it worked out for me.
Okay. Thank you for that. So yeah, I also feel like before we go deep into why we think marketing is the smartest way for anyone to come in, right? Before we get into that conversation, let's talk about all the categories. We'll talk about how careers are broken down in tech, right? And I want us to use Tech Nation as guide because I think that that's one benefit that is a unifier, right? Um, it's one benefit that everybody that works in tech can, benefit from. For people who don't know what Tech Nation is, Tech Nation is a um, verification body for global talent visas in the UK, right? So they verify tech talents, who are looking to move to the UK on a either work visa or ILR, right? People who are looking to stay in the UK for a long time, right? So Technician is the body that validates, verifies, and approves talents before the Home Office, the UK Home Office, then approves your visa, right? So now, how they see tech talents is through like four category. There is the engineering, there is product, there is commercial, and there is design, right? So I know everybody knows, the roles under engineering. You have the DevOps, you have the developers, you have all those core, I'm sure AI guys are also, part of engineering and all of that. Then you have the design. So that's where the product designers are. You have the product category. Product is where, you have your product manager, um, I think designers are also in product. You have your QA person. All of those guys are under product. Now let's come to the commercial side. Now the reason why there is a category like that is because you can't actually have or create a product without thinking of how to scale that product or sell that product. Nobody's creating any product, even if you are creating a product for free, like it's going into the market to be used freely. You still need to have a system in place to get your free users, right? So, because you're not going to create a product and just expect people to know about it and to know how to use it and to use it, right? So, there needs to be some people who are working in that area to number one, grow the business, grow the brand, grow the product. Do you understand? And there's a lot that goes into that part of you know the business, and in this case the tech business. So if marketing or the commercial side is not important, I don't think it would be a category that they would create to actually get people to come in, right? So it's important that a commercial team is in every business, right? Because growth is important, especially in tech companies where you have investors who probably gave you money because they are looking to make money themselves. So there's a timeline that you're expecting, the money that they've given you to reproduce more or to produce more money. So it's important that you have a team who is in charge of getting the word out about your products, getting more people to know about your products and to use your products, and also the exchange of value, which is, to grow revenue, right? So, how would you say? So, the question I wanted to ask is really, how do you think? I think I've even answered this, but I would like to hear your own. I like to hear your view. But how do you think marketing, like, what role do you think marketing plays in a tech company? Like, I know I've answered it, but like, from your own point of view, because I like to think, and maybe because I'm in growth, right? I think I have a different idea of, and by the way, guys, I'm still going to talk about the difference between marketing and growth, and also talk about how you can transition from marketing into growth, right? So stick with us. I mean, the conversation is going to be very juicy, so stick with us. So, Shimilere, how do you think of marketing when you're thinking about marketing in a tech company? How do you see marketing?
Okay, so
Do you understand
thank
what
you.
I'm saying?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, 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 I do.
Okay.
So basically, I feel like marketing is like the mirror and the voice of the product managers. You understand? Because without marketing, there is zero user understanding. You understand? Because there's a product on table on board, and without data, how do you know people are thinking? Their thoughts, their drop off, what they expect, and how they receive information. So these are things that marketing would help with. Then also in tech too, getting us you to adopt faster. You understand? Because basically we help the users understand and adopt the new features. You get so there's a feature of it, there's a rollout. We are the ones that push it to the end users to make it useful to them. Because many times people don't know that they have problems. You get to say
Yeah.
that there's a problem and you can fix it for them. So in marketing, yes, we highlight the problems of the end users that they had no idea they had before, and we fix it for them. You understand? And
Yeah.
going on, sorry for the noise in the background. And
Yes,
going on
fine.
to that, the marketing tool is positioning and being different because you can have the same brand, or you can have like 10 brands basically doing the same thing, but it's the way you brand position yourself and push your features before it's even launched that make you different. I think we have many brands that are doing the same thing. You understand?
Yeah.
But many are not like blowing up because obviously either they have low funds or they don't
Yeah.
have good marketing in the company. So marketing yes in tech, it gives product clarity. You understand? Because you can build the best product and the marketing
Yeah.
is just. So and that's why I always work closely with the PMs in my companies to make sure we are on the same page because you need
Yeah.
to interpret the PM's thoughts to sell to your end users. And also, like I said earlier too, with marketing, it's different. It's different rules for different things. Well, not in
So,
Nigeria, by the way.
sorry, Shemilere, I think people are finding it difficult to hear you, and I also think your audio is going in and out. Do
So
you
let me
mind
try.
adjusting?
Let me try and be louder. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yeah, I can.
Okay. So sorry. So let me go back a bit. So I said basically yes. Um, Most times we work with the PMs because I feel like we need to echo your PM's thoughts to build and to push the product properly. You understand? For the PMs, basically the experience for the users, while we in marketing work on the growth of the product. So when we combine our minds together, it's magic. And also, like I said earlier, to marketing, there are different roles. Marketing from product marketing to PPC to growth. But really, with growth marketing, yes, it's mainly seeing your click rates, the drop off rates, the A or B testing, and user survey and feedback to know how to improve the product. Basically,
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. But do you, when you're looking at the important roles in marketing, or no, if when you're looking at the important roles in a business, right? You know how if when you're about to launch a product, right, and you have your first team, right? You know, every company has their first team. Do you think marketing is that important at the early stage?
Okay, so I I think that for the early stages based on your product. So I'll do it in two ways now. If you are bootstrapped, then
Yeah.
I would mainly go with building communities first before marketing, because when the communities around your product, yes, to push it for you basically free of charge. That's if you have a good product by the way. So
Yeah.
if you are bootstrapped, then you need to build communities first before going to hire the marketing guns. You understand? So
Yeah.
once you have a little voice, let's say, because when I built a brand to 1K people on the wait list before launch, we're getting free PR clicks, without spending a kobo. You understand?
Yeah.
And that because we put the end users in our product, saying that we're building for you, we're building with you, give us your feedback and your loops on what you feel like we're missing. So they were the first early users of our product and they felt like they were part of the company, you understand? So being a community when you are bootstrapped really, really helps you, you know. But if you are VC funded, obviously, I recommend that you start because basically there are three key roles that we should always have in tech marketing. We have the growth, product, and digital marketing. And they are all different roles, by the way.
Yep.
So growth basically is the engine,
Yeah.
you know, the life cycle, the rates of drop-offs, the adoption, user experience. Product marketing basically is for features. You understand? That's why when I
Yeah.
see brands saying PMM should go and run ads, I'm always confused at what's going on here. Because
Or being in charge of content marketing. I mean, I
yes,
think a PM can still function there
yes,
because,
but
being a part of like the features of the products and everything, that's still understandable. But asking a PMM, product marketing manager, to, you know, be a part of your ads or your acquisition whatsoever, I think that's
yeah,
where we kind of like lose people, because now it's not part of their core strength, right? So you're just asking and they will go and burn your money.
so
That's
thank you.
why they
Then
will burn your money.
finally we have digital marketing too. That is the pay
Yeah.
per click, the SEOs and the ads. So that's why typically when
Yeah.
building your marketing team as a startup that has money, by the way, because I would recommend that you can
Yeah.
start with more community-based marketing, where you have someone a volunteer that help you build your wait list, or if you're fully funded, then you can have a good marketer, product, or digital marketer. Those three alone would give you um, good conversion because they have different roles. But many a time in Nigeria, it's all merged into
Yeah.
one, and when the person doesn't convert, they'll say, it's a bad staff. But it's not really their fault because they don't really
Right.
have that experience in it. So yes.
Yep. Yep. Okay, fair enough. I wouldn't have said it any differently. Um, I mean, but how I think about it is, for a business who is new, um, like you said, you have to have like a minimum viable product. Like, before I think you should bring in a marketer of any sort. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. We're, we're lagging a bit, I think.
Can you hear me? Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I can, I can.
Okay, okay. So I said before you, personally, I think, okay, thank you guys. So I think what's important is to have, before you bring in a marketer, something needs to exist, right? And that what needs to exist has to be something that can be communicated to people, because that's exactly what a marketer can do, right? Help you communicate your products to the markets, right? And part of communication is also bringing the value of the product to the market, right? Helping people know that, oh, there's a problem that you don't know you have that I can solve, right? And this is why you should choose me to solve that problem. But before I can speak on it, or try to drive people into this kind of conversation, it means that I have to have something to show for it, right? So I personally think that maybe early on, maybe you want to bring a product marketer. That's if you're building something that is large scale, right? You can have a product marketer on a contract basis, and have them be on guard to ensure that whatever you're communicating is correct. Because I think that sometimes you have some products. I don't know if the tech guys, the engineers, are just really too key into the coding or the engineering side of things that they don't even know that what they are. But now I think things are easy now. Everybody has access to GPT rather, and they're able to leverage, you know, use that to kind of like do their communication. But I'm speaking before ChatGPT, when people had to do the actual work. I think that depending on the kind of product, depending on the stage you're in, depending on how much cash you have, some of these are like roles that I think are important. I mean, I think it's not one size fits all for all products. It really just depends on what you guys are pushing and where you guys
Okay.
are. So quickly
So,
into
sorry, just let me chip in on this too.
yes,
And also, it
yes,
depends on the product. If you're a SaaS product, for example, I would recommend,
yeah,
hiring a salesperson first before a marketing person. And that's just it. Because, you
true,
need to you need to get early companies on your platform first and
yeah,
generating revenue for you before you hire marketing. So in
especially if
that
it's
case,
B2B.
thank you. So B2B SaaS, it has to be
Yeah,
salesperson first to build the basis
yeah.
of ground marketing. So yes, I agree with you too.
Yeah, thank you for that. So, I wanted us to get into like the juicy part of this conversation, right? We're saying this is the smartest way, but saying it gives you flexibility. So let's speak about the flexibility that this career gives, right? So, I for one thing that if you count the number of people that you will find online selling one online course or not, one digital course or not, they are either copywriters. I'm even tired of seeing their ads, right? Oh, I made $6,000 this month. I made $10,000 last month. All I did was write email for this client in America, and he paid me $2,000. I'm not saying that these are lies, because these are very, very, very possible if you put in the work, right? Um, but in marketing, I think marketing is the only career that you can decide to either be a content marketer, be a paid ad specialist, be an email person, or be do just automations. Like, there's just so much to do in marketing. So let's speak about why do you think marketing gives that level of freedom? Like, we see people become freelancers, become remote workers. We even have people going straight into consultancy, right? People are legit learning and moving straight into creating their own agency. why do you think why do you think marketing gives that level of freedom? Or what is it in marketing that affords people that freedom? Do you answer my question?
Yeah, yeah, I do, I do. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
So basically, marketing is I won't say it's easy, but it's basic. Can you grow engagement? Can you drive conversions? Can you
Hmm.
attract users? Can you understand the product properly? If yes, then you can work in marketing, and you can work from anywhere. You can freelance and consult. However, I think the only because are market conditions, in the sense that I think right now people are very limited to Africa and have not really explored other countries. So, for example, now I work with a brand in Texas um, last year for
So,
eight
can
months.
anyone hear Shemilere? Shemilere, your sound is going in and out,
Can you
right?
hear me
And
now?
I really don't want people to. Yeah, I think when you move closer to your screen, you are
Okay.
a lot more audible.
Okay, yeah. So basically, I said that the marketing.
Hi,
How do
Favor.
you, how do you know you can work with it? Basically, you know,
Yeah.
can you grow engagement, conversions, attract users?
Yeah.
Can you understand the product? If you can answer all these questions and you know you can do it, then I feel like you have a leverage to enter marketing. You understand? I think the only issues that I've seen in marketing right now that people are lacking is knowing different markets. You get so I
Yep.
worked with a brand in Texas for 8 months last year, and I realized that um, America is a very big country. It's a very big country, so the brand I'm working for had over 800 brands doing the same thing in only Texas alone. For for context, that's the same size as Nigeria, Texas. You understand? So imagine over
Yeah.
800 brands doing the same thing you're doing. So how do you compete in this sphere?
How do you make money to start with before you even think of becoming the top option? How do you make money while having 799 other competitors? That's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. So we had the 1K USD ad budget for per month, and due to being a very competitive country, it could not work. You understand? So what do we
Yeah.
do? We build leverage. You understand? So we marketing, yes. If you can build leverage in any sphere that you are in, then I believe that you can work in it. If you can create systems, funnels, engines for
Yeah.
referrals and tips, then I feel like you can really, but you need to be very creative and smart. You
Yep.
understand? Because I feel like people right now do not follow data at all. It just I call it vibe marketing. You understand? Okay, it's trending right now. Let's do it. You know, marketing too. You can move to even sales because marketing you have to know how to sell. So
Yep.
communicating value, building your own brand and product and audience. That's for me is like freedom. You understand? And I've worked from several countries too. I was in
Yeah.
Doha.
I saw you last month working
Yeah,
from Qatar. I said this you are
yeah.
living the life. Oh, Shimlere, open the door for us too now.
So
Because I was like, you're enjoying, I feel like it was even that moment I was like, okay, it's you I'm going to bring to have this particular conversation. You have to tell the people how they can, work remotely from Qatar and have fun while doing that. Shimla, are you there? I think can anyone hear Shimla? So okay, I think his internet is sorry guys, it's raining heavily in Lagos and I think Shimla is in Lagos. um and I think it's intercepting with the internet with his internet, so it would join us again. You can't hear him. Okay, okay, let me try to put him back up. Hi Shimle.
it's okay.
Hi Shimle. Yes, yes, we
I'm so
lost you for a
sorry.
bit.
I'm so sorry. We're in Nigeria. Sorry. So
Yeah,
yeah,
understandably.
yeah. So next month I'll be in Ghana working from Ghana too. It's just that like I said
You see
before.
now, can you guys hear how Shimle is
No,
globetrotting,
no. So basically,
while he's doing his job?
and I feel like when you go to other countries too, you learn a lot of things in their systems too. So
Yeah,
my tour to Qatar journey basically taught me a lot of things that I thought I knew before, but from a different perspective. Because it's in
yeah,
Asia, so you learn to understand Asia's market conditions, their GTMs and the likes. So I feel like
yeah,
that also really helped me a lot in marketing because now I know that okay, I can use some of their activities or their marketing drives in Nigeria and to work too because basically I'm knowing that user understanding is graphics of what they're doing basically, so you understand. So I feel like with marketing, yes, you're free to do what you want to do, but the main thing is that you have to have conversions because end of the day, when they are asking you to stand up and Priscilla, what are you doing this week? What did you do this week as regards marketing? You need to say we generated in sales 1 billion naira and we hope to generate in 2 weeks' time 1 trillion naira. You understand? So yes, it might look
yeah,
all fun and see, and right now the AI have made things easier, but still and still, I believe that If you're not smart, or
Yeah.
if you don't want to read, you will not explain the marketing properly.
Yeah. So thank you for that. So I think when I'm thinking about people who can do marketing, I honestly think anybody can do marketing, right? And I think anybody can sell. Let's start from there. Anybody can sell. You just need to understand the psychology behind selling something. Because if you have ever had to ask someone to do your bidding, I feel like you can actually sell. Because it's really not, I mean, it's away from manipulation, away from tricking, but presenting your point to people such that you're convincing them that you know what you're saying and what you're saying is the right thing for them. That's all there is for selling. Because to be honest, we've had cases where people buy things that they don't need. People have bought products that when they got home never worked. Do you understand? It's because whoever sold it to them is a very fantastic seller. And I think that the most important skill in life is knowing how to sell, right? You find it useful even in job interviews, you find it useful in your day to day because nothing is going to be given to you, right? You will have to get things from people. Like you have to literally ask people to hand things over to you, right? So um that's how I think of marketing. But the difference between marketing and sales, in my own from my own point of view, really is with marketing, you can be a behind the scene person, right? You don't necessarily need to be in the face of everyone. Your work may speak for you and then just stay behind. Now with sales, sales is more customer facing, right? So you can't really be a shy person. You can't really you can't be a behind the scene person to actually make it in sales, right? So it means that the same skill you would use to excel in marketing is the same skill you use to excel in sales. It's just that one is more customer facing, one is more convincing than the other. Now, a salesperson is not going to let you go until at least they can get a yes or a no from you, right? But in marketing, I'm just going to give it to you. There is still an opportunity for you to say yes or no. And that's why in funnels, marketing comes first, then sales. While sales is still there, there's still marketing supporting sales by engaging them via emails, engaging them by other touch points, and just information overload. Really, that's what marketing is. So I don't think it's something that anybody can't do. So that's why I consider it the smartest way. So when I find people who are saying, oh, I want to transition into tech, and it's difficult for them to code or do the other side of things, or they're not creative enough to um do website design or product design, because I feel like you can't be stealing other people's concepts or design. You also have to have a little bit of creativity in
For
you to
now,
be a
for now, I
fantastic.
also did product design for a bit, but I didn't like it. Then
I
also,
did website design actually, and the funny thing is that my clients till today are still renewing, right? Because I have clients from 5 6 years ago that I built their websites, and because I'm in charge of like the platform that we are hosting their website on, whatever, I still get to do the changes. I mean, I still touched one e-com site that I built like 6 years ago, when I was somewhat clueless. So I think, and the reason why I chose website design that time was because it was easy for me to learn how to do to set up a website with tools like WordPress, right? Because I started with WordPress, right? But now there's so many AI tools. I can't count how many websites I've built or sales pages that I've built in the space of 2 weeks just because I found one tool that does. Oh no, I didn't find the tool. My boss told me about the tool, right? And it's the most fantastic thing that I've discovered in my life, right? So I'm just trying to say that in with marketing, I think marketing is just the easiest. So if you have ever stuck on what choice, I mean, there are core sides of marketing as well, right? Because I think automation, it's a very it requires critical thinking,
A
right?
lot, a lot.
So for you to really be a good automation specialist, or in marketing there are so many fancy names, whatever the name is, I think that you have to be someone who is able to think critically. You can assess problems and you can think around the solution, right? There's something for you. If you're someone who knows how to tell stories, right, it means that you can successfully do copywriting, right? So there's so many options in marketing. I think
Um,
when it comes to
to,
paid ads, yeah, you're saying something.
to add to what you just said now,
Yeah,
I mean, like, marketing can be done by everybody, but not in the same way. So, some can sell through storytelling, you know, some through good visuals, some
yeah,
through words,
yeah,
some through content. So, there's a lot of things you can. So, you pick your niche and you grow on it. You understand? So, for me, basically, my own is it's basically a toolbox that you can pick things from to learn and fit your style. You understand? So if it's visuals, then content. If it's words, copywriting, SEO writing, if it's growth, you understand. So I feel like it's a whole lot. But I feel like the issue right now is that in Nigeria, due to fund constraints, many
mm-hmm.
brands, startups, they want to make everything into one whole
Yeah.
place.
They want
And
one person to do everything.
And therein lies the issue because no matter how good you are, if you like be the best CMO in the world, I assure you, you would have some lags in skill that you need from others. Just just last month, I worked with a brand, yes, and my ads are not converting. You understand? So I borrowed somebody to help me run the ads, and we made money, like a lot of money from the ads that we ran. You understand? So that's why I believe that you might know things, but people know more than you.
Yeah,
You understand? So you need to always try and learn more, and also try and be open to like collaborations too. So in this sense,
yeah,
I met the guy, and we ran PPC ads, and he gave me mad conversions. Talking about we used 800K to make about 10 million naira in 2 weeks. Yeah. So like it was that good. While I was struggling with it for like a week, not converting. So I'm a CMO, I understand that, but still I could not convert with ads. So you need to pick and
yeah,
build basically what you want to do. And it's more of interest, not the money, to be honest,
yeah,
because I was earning about I think about 40K in my first job. Yes, and obviously 40K will not take anywhere in the country. But I wanted to learn. I wanted to have my foot on the ground and understand how things work. And I feel like where I worked at first, my first ever startup, really taught me a lot of things in the sense that it was a tight knit startup and it was bootstrapped. We had a 20K budget for ads marketing for the month in 2020, 20,000 naira only. So so you had to be creative, and you had
yeah,
to. So that was
yeah,
why I was on board. I said, with this your 20K budget, you cannot work. Oh. But what we'll do is that we'll move to B2B. You understand? And when we did, we closed MTN, we closed Flutterwave, we closed Kuda. Yeah. So these brands used company's APIs for their deliveries. You understand?
yeah,
Before we B2C that okay, come and use our APIs, for your business, but the volume was not there. It was every other week, 5 orders, 10 orders. But when it was B2B, basically, we're getting per day, 20 orders per day, 20 orders per day, via our APIs, and we scaled. So we didn't really spend much on the marketing budget. Basically, we just used the monies to pay for this old CRM tool to basically monitor the life cycle of the end users, and that made sense. And we paid zero on ads anymore. So the marketing tool need to be very, very sharp to understand that okay, it does not work, it does not work. And also an issue is that many a time too, founders think that they're the best marketers in the world. Founders they say
yeah,
no, do this by like this. And I'm like, no, this is the data that we have and this is what data says. And they'll say no, do only done this way. So as someone in marketing, you need to understand how to convince people about what you are doing. And not with mouth to with data and trends. So
yeah,
basically saying that we do this and we expect this. You understand? Because if you don't do that and you not say, okay, it will not work to your founder, you'll be in big trouble.
And it's easy to, I feel like because marketing is the 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 result of your work is supposed to be visible. Like, you can't be a marketer and people are not seeing the results. It's not a department where your results will, like, there's some roles that are supporting roles, like their impact is not directly felt. But that's not the case in marketing. Your impact has to generate money. Like, even for copywriting, even for social media, like, there has to be visible there has to be visible results. Like, people should be able to hand pick what. So I think that's what makes marketing tricky, because there is a way to actually track if you know what you're doing or not. And I think that's why marketing and sales are often always on the hot seat, and it looks like their job is always on the line, right?
Thank
So
you.
as much as marketing is as much as marketing is a fantastic job that gives you flexibility, because you could have a 9 to 5 job. See me talking about a client from 6 years ago. This client has stayed with me for 6 good years and pays me every year because, number one, we need to renew their hosting. We need to maybe adjust some things on our website, whatever, whatever. And at the time when I was doing website design, it was a skill that I thought was important for a marketer, right? I thought it was important for me, as that time I was even doing digital marketing. So I felt like a digital marketer should be able to even build a landing page at the very minimum, right? Do you understand? So from that, so it's just to explain the flexibility of this skill, right? You can have your full-time job and also have like 6 clients that you are also, managing, because marketing is not necessarily, I mean, some roles in marketing, let me not say all roles, some roles in marketing are not hands on a daily basis. Some other roles are hands on, that you have to be on ground every day. But say, for instance, someone who does paid ads, this person can handle more than 10 accounts, right? Because all they need to do is to set it up and monitor, right? And how many hours do you want to sit down monitoring
You
metrics
watching?
a day? Do you understand? And plus, you can't monitor every day, because what are you looking at? You have to set timelines. Okay, am I setting a 7-day attribution result? Like, I want to monitor things every 7 days and see what behavior has changed. So it allows you freedom to do other things, and that's if you are not lazy. And if you are, I mean, I wouldn't say lazy, because you could be earning good money and decide to stick with just one thing, right? Which is also good. But I think what Shimlori and I have just really said is that marketing is, it gives you that much flexibility, because anyone who is going to teach you about marketing will actually start from the psychology. Hi Abubakar, start with this from the psychology of marketing. And the psychology remains, how to sell to someone, knowing how to remind people that they have a problem and how you are bringing a solution for them. This is all it is. And it's just like you're doing this through different means. You're sending them emails, you're communicating via ad campaign, you're doing social media content, right? It's the same thing. It's just that there are different ways, to do it. And every business needs at least one role in marketing. So I think that even when the job market is crazy and all of that, if you are a marketer who is an all-rounder, so when you are learning to transition to marketing, you have opened yourself enough to actually learn at least one thing about each of these skill. It means that you're invaluable and you can almost not be stranded. I've never been job stranded in my life, right? And that's because even if I don't have a 9 to 5, I have at least one client I am working for, right? I recently started another side gig, which is hiring tech professionals for businesses, right? And it started from one person reaching out to me and telling me that, oh, they've been trying to hire people in marketing, and it's been terrible peaks and all of that. And I'm like, you know what, give me 24 hours and I'm going to hire people for you, because I know, I mean, you can't bamboozle me with your CV, even if your
Yeah.
CV is all stars and all of that. I just need to have one conversation with you to actually know if Millicent, can you hear me? You said it has lost volume. Can you hear me now? Shemile, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can clearly.
Okay. Millicent, I hope you can hear us now. So it's just how you intend to. So also the first few, like how you decide to make that transition to marketing also matters. Like you're not just assuming that you can do it. You actually go through a training. I think that's very important, right? Marketing can, you can easily think that you know how to sell and dabble into it. All you would do is either waste people's money, waste people's time, because there are structures to these things. So you can't do assumption. And when we hire people and then they come in and they are always lost, I can tell that the the due diligence wasn't done. Maybe you did like a 2 weeks course and then you just assume that all parts of marketing is what you can do, or you did one part of marketing and you're just assuming that now you're a data marketer, or now you're a content marketer, or now, I mean, people slap roles,
Names,
on
those,
themselves.
those,
Like,
yeah.
you would read CVs and you see someone calling themselves a group marketer, and the job they've done in the past is not showing how they've built any growth engine or how they've sustained the business. So it's not just to slap a Okay, thank you very much, Abubakar. So it's not all about slapping a title to yourself. In fact, I think you shouldn't be obsessed with titles in marketing, because that allows you to be flexible. Because when you slap something to yourself, that means sometimes you are, especially in your early stage, when you start calling yourself maybe a growth marketer or a digital marketer, sometimes you're putting yourself in a box, because an opportunity might come for a copywriter, an opportunity might come for social media manager, an opportunity can come from any angle. So don't box yourself yet, right? Make sure that you have dabbled into different things before you choose, your area of specialization. That's how I say it. But please, you mentioned something about AI. You hinted it and said something like, "Oh, AI has made things easy," and I wanted us to speak on AI. So as much as we've, from all of our conversation, we have said that marketing is a very important um, skill, and we've also spoken about how even at the early stage of businesses, they need to have at minimum one person in marketing join their team and all of that. So in this era of AI, and it's crazy because AI is getting smarter every second, because people constantly are feeding it data, and so it's getting smarter every minute. Now, would you say that marketing is still future proof with how intense AI has been in the last, okay, so let's just say in the last 6 months, because I know the tools that I've worked with in the last 6 months, they've blown my mind. So do you still think marketing is future proof? If yes, why? If no, why?
Okay, so yes, well, basically knowing the way we are talking about it, you understand. Because
Yeah.
AI basically is to help you now to perform better. So in terms of creating a GTM, research ideas, it gives you the basic idea. But you as a product marketer or as a product marketer should know how to fine tune it to suit your product. So it's like your body, it's like your PA, but it should not be
Yeah.
your main tool because it will not get you lost. For example, now if you write a copy for me now via AI, I will know. I will clearly know because
Mm.
I use AI a lot
Yeah.
to know
Yeah.
the emotions, the formats and the likes. But if I write for you with AI, but I edit it properly, I assure you, you will not know that it's AI. That's because I've infused,
Yeah.
the emotions and the brand credibility into the copy. So as marketers using AI, you need to realize that it's gonna help you be better. But if you are lazy and you say you do your job, it will replace you. It will
Yeah.
replace you in the long run.
Yeah.
So as a conclusion, it should be a tool that just helps you to, you know, to work faster. You understand? Because now with AI, you can do 5 gigs at the same time, and it will all be on point because we have already the template. You just need to make it work. You understand? So I'll say AI is a leverage, not
Yeah.
not the primary tool. It's a leverage for you to test ideas quicker, write better campaigns. Be smart and less stress. So yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I share similar opinion with you on that because I think AI makes you get things done quickly, but you also need to be smart. And it's one thing I always struggle with when people write with AI and I can spot it. I just feel like, no, like this tool is very smart. So exercise it, like get to it, stretch it to its limits. Like you'll be
I'm always
surprised
very angry when I
how
see this and I'm like, this is AI. Like straight up, I'm
yes,
like
yes.
no,
And I
I
think
do this.
so I was speaking with some marketers like last week on one of like there was a call I was invited on to just randomly speak, and then I was speaking about the important things I think you as a marketer should actually like do in this era of AI. As a marketer, I don't think you should I think as a marketer, the minimum you can do is actually even get knowledge on prompt engineering. I think is a very important um skill, right? Prompt engineering, you know why? Because when you understand how AI thinks and how it feeds into data and how it gives you back results, you're able to write what you want it to do. In fact, you're able to invoke emotions for it. You're able to humanize it,
And for now,
right?
like right now, people are already selling prompts for AI right now. Hope you know that, right?
Do you understand? And I'm like, why are you selling me prompts? I'm not looking to achieve the same thing as you. Do you
Yes. So
understand? Like, why are you selling prompts? I'm sure I've seen so many ebooks where people are saying that, oh, download 100 AI prompts. I'm like, no, you don't need it, right? Of course, if it's something, and I don't blame people who are selling it because they know that people are not going to do the actual job or that it's or actual work that is required to get the best of AI. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I think that's very important. And also, there are so many free courses, right? I took one recently on generative AI, right? And it's by Google. Now, what this does for you is you are able to generate things yourself, right? I was also like recently playing with Google VO3. Someone suggested it because I've been seeing, I don't know if you've been seeing these videos on Instagram of this orange cat. This
yeah,
meow
yeah,
meow
yeah.
meow meow. I'm always so engrossed in those videos, like because I find it very very hilarious, and I'm always watching them to the end, and it continues to suggest those videos to me, and I'm like, you know what? I actually want to learn how to make these videos, these consistent characters, with AI, and then there's also another one, the Bigfoot one. I don't know if you know the Bigfoot video
Yeah.
as well of the gorilla. There is that too that I find very interesting. I got interested in, okay, you know what? I want to know how to. And so I went to my community because I'm in one growth hackers community. And then I just wrote there, I'm like, guys, I want to be able to make this kind of videos. Like, I want to make a 30 minutes long video where I have consistent characters, right? Because I know that the way the AI analyzes prompts. Like if you put in the first take, there's a way it would analyze it. If you put in the second take, there's going to be a bit of difference because now maybe it feels like you didn't like the first one and it's now going to modify things, but it won't give you the same thing. So I wanted to know how to, create it. I found it's so crazy how you can easily find how to do things online. And I found a video. I don't know the name of that YouTuber. It was just a 30 minutes, a 10 minutes video rather. And I started to play around this thing. I created our ad video, right? And my boss was like, "These videos are crazy. These videos are nice." Do you understand what I'm saying? So like, these are the things. Like as a marketer, you have to stay on top of things. Like the way the
Thank
tools are coming, you're also there. So when people, if they say, okay, we want someone who is proficient in Google View 3, of course I'll say I am, because I've been able to do things with it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So like you said, it is supposed to aid your work, it's supposed to support your work, it's supposed to make things easy for you, it's supposed to even make you do things better. But I don't see any AI taking my job. If AI does take my job, say for instance, a business wants to now use AI instead of my brain to sell, fantastic for them. But I don't think I'm going to be in a position where I would be stranded as far as job is concerned, because away from the roles that can be replaced. Okay, you can get AI to create content for you and automate it and post on social media. You can create AI automation. You can create AI automation for your YouTube videos. You can do so many things with AI. You can automate your workflows. But then there's some human part of, you know, the business that the AI still cannot do,
Yeah,
right?
and
That a human will have to do it, right? So you want to make sure that you position yourself for those opportunities that exist, and also still arm yourself with the opportunities that exist with AI. So as much as you're still good without AI, you're also good with AI. And that's how I see, this. Did you want to say something,
yeah,
Chimleri?
yeah, just to move a bit from this AI topic to something similar to that. Someone reached out to me
Yeah,
last week saying she wanted to learn marketing, this and that, and she saw a course on Seller for 100K. You understand? And I'm like,
yeah,
this is too expensive for a Seller course. Rather than this, pay for YouTube Premium and learn
yep,
on YouTube. And I assure you, it's the same thing you learn on YouTube that you learn on that
yeah,
course. You know. Then a week later, she said, "Thank you very much for the advice." That she learned everything via YouTube, and she paid only 2.5 for premium, and that was because obviously the ads and the likes, for the experience that
yeah,
So from 2.5 to 100K, and she got value. You understand?
yeah,
AI, search engine and the likes are for you to like they're your tools to improve yourself. They never
yeah,
replace you, but they
yeah,
will learn it from you to work better. So that's why I'm looking at your conversation. It's very important that you have those tools. Right now, I pay for YouTube, I pay for AI, I pay for all the Gemini, all of them, because I want to study now, I want to see how they work, I want to see how we can, improve the
yeah,
processes too. You understand? Because end of the day too, they learn from us, not for themselves. So what you feed AI,
yeah, yeah.
is. So when
Exactly. The data they're
you
using to improve it.
want that, if you want that, you just use it to create their own funnels too. I'll give you that ask next
Yeah,
week that information that okay, yes, this is what people think about it too. So take it. You understand? So still on still, it shows that with this field, if you are smart and you have it as a leverage for your branding and for your
yeah,
marketing, you do things faster and scale faster. But for me, it is still a tool to leverage, not to replace. You understand? So
yeah. I understand. So yeah, so I feel like we've said so many things that sounds like the good side of marketing, and I would like to think there will be one person at the minimum on this call who is looking to actually try out marketing, right? What would you say is the first step and the smartest step, right? Right now. So someone in 2025 wants to transition to marketing. They don't know what side of marketing they want to um, go into or get into. Maybe they're already even doing marketing low key, small, small, maybe with social media management, whatever, whatever. Now, in 2025, someone wants to transition into marketing. How would you advise them to make that move? Like, what's the first thing you ask them to do?
Okay, so my one is that you need to pick a skill lane and learn. So is it content? Is it product? Is it growth? Is it life cycle? Is it pay per click? You need to pick one skill and know it fully. You should
Okay.
not know it all at once, you understand, because it's growth too for yourself, so you understand. So and any paid ads or paid marketing, learn it fully and be good at it. Then later on you keep expanding to content, to email, to socials, to products. That's the way I learned. Started from one, started expanding, what I know. And also, basically use what you already know. Because
Yeah.
you might be maybe you might be in CS, you might be in design, and you can move to marketing. Yes, you can. Because it still falls around the users. You understand? So if you're working in CS, it means that you understand customers' pain or their problems too. You get. So you can
Mm.
work as someone in content marketing because that ties to what you have seen in user storage, user pains that you have worked in already. You understand? If you work in
Yeah.
design too, similar can happen in design because obviously you know what has converted, graphics wise, etc. and the likes. Then also, if you can pick one product currently in the market and study how it goes, you understand? You can be piggy, there are many apps. It can be
Yeah.
a B2B product, it can be a SaaS product, or even a creator in the space, maybe the Solemn King Games and the likes, you understand? You study how they write, how they launch, how to talk to users. That is free. Just have your data on your phone and it's free of charge, basically. So
Yeah.
as you move into marketing, you need to pick one product and study how it goes, pick a skill and go into the skill deeply. You understand? Then use your pre-existing skills. Then also you learn by doing. You learn by doing. So I was doing a course just last week. Yes, I'm still learning. Last week,
Yeah.
CXL. You understand? And
Yeah.
as we're talking because I was doing it in real time too. That's where you learn. I I still have a lot of notes. Let me show you something right now that's very unorthodox. Let me show you. So this
Yeah.
is books I read every day for marketing. Can you see them?
Mad.
So I
Can you
read a
guys
lot of,
can you guys see?
so I read a lot of books every
That's
day.
crazy.
So so when I read, I jot and I make sure things are being learnt. So
Yeah.
it's not a one day thing that you're yes,
Yeah.
I'm ever supposed to know everything, but still I learn every day. So you need to always know that marketing you need to learn by doing. Create a mock campaign, your landing page. Look for a product and do flow for them. You understand? Write on Medium. You get so these are things that you know. And also one thing you should do is also document everything. Share in
Yeah.
public
Yeah.
because I realize that um, people are seeing you, but you don't know they're seeing you. They are seeing you a lot, but you don't know that. Over the past 6 months now, I started writing on a Medium properly. You understand? And I see founders texting me on LinkedIn, hey, hi, can we work together? You know, not because most times I do like a case study of their product on my Medium
Yeah.
for my own listing. And I might have those 4 views, but those 4 views are from the founders of the product because, when they search for the
Yeah.
product, they see it and they just, oh, okay, this guy is smart, let's work with him. So, next thing, you should already call on my calendar, we can work with them and give them advice and feedback on what to do.
Yeah.
So, please document things, share. If you have your one like, share it. And if you are shy about your one like or your one share, hide your likes, hide everything. Don't worry,
I,
you just put it
I
there.
even think you need to, when it comes to your career,
Mm,
you need to put shame aside, because you see, on the other side of shame
mm.
is where your victory is at.
Thank you.
So your number one goal in life is being shameless. You want to be so shameless that you don't even cringe at your own actions. You understand? So if you get to a point, let's say for instance, the people, everyone who danced during COVID, I was doing dance challenge and stayed on it. After that, they all made money off it, right?
Yeah.
We that were forming papas, well, maybe some of us are still making money, but I mean, I'm just really saying that on the other side of shame is where your blessing is, right? So don't hold yourself down by being too, like, by analyzing yourself too much, right? Like, don't overanalyze yourself. Don't think too much about what other people are thinking, because they will actually still think, they will actually still talk, either you show it or not. So the earlier you begin to do that, the better for you. Because I remember when I was doing my 30-day challenge, right? Imagine me, still, I mean, after many years in marketing, I'm still trying to get myself out there, because beyond getting a job, beyond getting gigs, I'm trying to make lasting imprint in the community. I want to be known, right? So beyond just being one marketer in one company, I want to be known. I also want to be part of like the thought leaders in marketing. When I was in my 30 days, I think by day 15, I was already getting people reaching out to me, asking me questions. A brand had reached out to me, had signed them, as my low key client. Do you understand? Like, these things are coming because I put out knowledge and people feel like I have the knowledge, and they're able to gamble, because it's all a gamble, and hiring is always a gamble.
Thank you.
Hiring is always a gamble. Also, until someone comes into your business and you see how they behave, maybe like your first 1 month, first second month, if they are capable to do the job or not. But you're going to still do the gamble. And for you, the gamble is still salary, or it's still cash, or whatever it is.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
how I see this thing is, just put yourself out there, right? I won't, like, if I tell you all the stuff that I got from just doing that 30 days of, I mean, there are days that I don't want to write, maybe because the post I posted the day before did not do so well. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, it didn't do so well. So I'm just like, what's even the point? But I kept going. There are times that I make my post 11:49 p.m., right? I just make sure that it doesn't get to the next day. I never missed a day. And I kept going at it. And that was the best thing I did for myself, because I got a lot of clients on Instagram, like, away from tech. People in the beauty industry. I mean, I worked with um I'm currently working with a makeup company, right, who reached out to me and were able to finalize yesterday, to have me do their H2, marketing. Like, it's just like, these things help you, right? So you have to build in public. You have to think up, like, even if you're learning, just let the world know that, oh, guys, I'm looking to transition into so career, and I want to document my journey, right?
Thank you.
That's
Because, like,
if you want to do that. Sorry,
mhm.
Shimilere, you're
Because
going to
like
say
similar,
something.
because similar to me, like I was always the one that was being mysterious. You understand? Just working low
Yeah,
key. But this year, I took my LinkedIn very serious and my job very serious, and things I've seen from both platforms. Just writing, you know, I would see my article getting 200 views on Medium. I'm seeing people following me and saying we can work together. You understand? But I was doing
yeah,
for the past 4 5 years. I was doing. I was mysterious. Let my work pick for me. But I assure you, if your startup blows or it becomes successful and you're not out there, you find
yeah,
out you say, it was this one that I did it now, so that's why it happened that way now. So,
yeah,
put yourself out there, document yourself, and just make progress because someone like me now, I hate making videos or speaking in videos, by the way. But this year, I made a lot of video speaking
yeah,
and doing like marketing tips and the likes. And yeah, it's just for my own fun, not for anything. But that way I'm learning how to be more proactive in the camera. So
yeah,
if tomorrow is social media do a launch this thing for us, I can do it because I learned by myself. Via being courageous and
yeah.
documenting things. So please be out there in your marketing, LinkedIn, and please don't lie, because for real, like it's very clear that you know that marketing within a month or within 2 weeks, they know that you're a fraud if you're a fraud. So like
That's true.
it's very very easy to know a fraud. You understand? I talked to someone I think in March. You know, in the interview, he was very good. He was super good. You
Yeah,
understand? But within 2, I knew that he was a fraud. I knew that he was bad. You know, so we had to let him go because he was not like working as we should. So interviews he aced it. He was very good, but the actual work itself, we didn't do well at all. You understand? So you might think that you can be a fraud in marketing. You cannot be a fraud in marketing because most times in marketing, yes, when things are bad, they'll fire the marketing person
Yeah.
for any other role and sales. So we are the ones that have your jobs like shaking the most in startups. So once things are going bad, marketing, you're out. Sales, you're out. So you need to know your role
Yeah.
well and
So and I also think that it really depends on how you prove yourself. And you need to, and I think that's why it's important to actually grow in public, because what it does for you is that it helps you equip yourself with confidence that is required. I think confidence has a lot to play in, because some founders are actually intimidating. And it's not because they want you to feel bad, it's just because they think they know better than you. So if you're not confident in your skill, right? And by the way, you see why I keep hammering on being shameless is that a lot of people still don't regard marketing as that important role, even though it is one of the key roles in a business. Like, it would uphold a business, right? You are the reason why money is coming in, right? You're working side by side with the sales. So yeah, it's an important team, it's an important department, but a lot of businesses still don't regard marketing. So for your own sake, you have to not care about, those things, but be as strong as you can be in your own personal skill. And I promise you, you can never actually go stranded with a skill in marketing, right? You can't, you see, you shouldn't even be jobless if you have a skill in marketing, because you have an opportunity to have a 9 to 5, you have an opportunity to be on your own, you have an opportunity to randomly reach out to people and even beat your chest to it and say, you know what, don't pay me, I'm going to run this thing for you for 1 month. If you see results, pay me. I think marketing is one of those departments where you can actually beat your chest and tell people to, hold the cash, let me run my magic on your business, and then pay me after. Of course, you want to sign paper, do a lot of paperwork, because people are very dubious, right? But it's just how. So I think at the end of the day, what I want you guys to take off this session is that marketing allows you too much opportunity for you not to give it a shot, right? But I had a very slight opinion, like a different opinion from Shemilori when it comes to how to learn, right? And I think that's because of how he learned. But I'm going to take you a little bit back into how I learned, right? Um, so I'm just going to do a little backstory into my own career in tech, right? So I already mentioned that I did, software development, product management, website design, data analysis, whatever that skill. Like, so I did all of those things before I eventually found myself in marketing. And the reason why I got into marketing is because I've always helped my auntie. I really don't like marketing. It has unrealistic targets in job description. John, please hold on for me. I'm actually going to address your comment. I'm going to come back to it and address your comment, and I'll allow Shimlori also address your comments. But so I moved to marketing because I already had all the important skill. Important skill being that I understand what's not working if a website shuts down. At least to an extent, I know what might be the problem and I can communicate with the developers on what I suggest is the problem, right? I already have product management skill. So when I started my career in marketing, I really got into the managerial role early because I already learned how to manage teams and how to drive goals, right? So the website design part of things is that I can tell if something looks good and if it doesn't look good, right? I can tell if something can give me the result I want or not. And so I'm able to communicate with the design team that, no, this doesn't work, this works. Now moving to marketing. So when I wanted to transition to marketing, wasn't I did not think there was any part of marketing I wanted to dabble into. I wanted to be an all rounder. And I think it's because of the very core skills that I've had in the past, where, well, you have to do everything. Do you understand? Because when I was doing data analysis, I moved from Excel to Python. Like I didn't stop halfway. I learned all through. Did SQL, moved to Python. So like maybe because I've been thorough in my choice, I just really felt like I had to do everything. So when I learned, I learned with Digital Marketing Institute UK, and it's a very, if you know the course, it's very very intense. It's very um all encompassing. So I did that. And I always say that if you ever find any course that in their course outline, they detail it well, right? By the way, shameless plug, I have a class um, in Diary.io if you want to learn marketing. There's a class. Um, but yeah, you can reach out to anyone in Diary.io team via LinkedIn or any other platform to ask about that. But if you find any marketing course that outlines, all the sides of marketing and helps you understand, because I think that to actually pick a side of marketing, you need to know all the sides of marketing to make that decision, to know which one fits into your temperament, fits into your interest, fits into your day to day, because you know how busy you are, you know how much time you have in your hands, you know your future goals. You can, I mean, for me like this now, money drives me. So you know the kind of money you want to make in the future, right? So you might want to learn everything and see which one is either more financially wise to do, or you also want to look at, because you could be in the UK, maybe one course is more has higher demand than the other. So like there's so many factors you want to consider before taking that course, right? So I think what's best is for you to, if you can, find courses that help you. And also you can do YouTube, to be honest. You don't necessarily need to pay money. But I think if you have low attention span like me, you should actually find someone to teach you and just pay them that money, right? I do YouTube for only things that are 10 to 15 minutes long. I don't have the attention span to do classes for long, right? So um that's that. But yeah, Chimilore, I want to quickly address this. I don't know if anyone has questions, please let's put it in the chat. But I want to quickly address John's comment. He said, I really don't like marketing because it has unrealistic targets in job description. So I'm going to go first, then I'll allow Shimleri to go. So I think any job description that is giving you targets in their job description, I think they're not serious. I don't think a target should be in the job description because I don't even know your business. Why are you putting a target inside job description, right? And the only side of marketing that gives you targets are the ones with actual numbers. So maybe paid ads and all of that. But I don't even, and I think you should run away from any job description that has that, to be honest. Um, because until I come into a business, until I see what your numbers are saying, until I even see your housekeeping, like, oh, you guys have you have done your due diligence in setting like the standard and setting your house in order, because you can't tell me to come in from day one and sell, maybe bring in 100 million cash when you have not done what is required. Like your product is not set for that kind of success, right? Because we could push campaign out and you guys don't have the internal team to manage that influx, right? Now, so you can't set a target and say that in my first 1 month or first second month, I need to bring in 100 million, right? And I think it's, for me, it's a red flag from job description if that is there. It is a red flag. And I think it should be a red flag for anybody. But in terms of marketing, I think there are other, if you are scared of targets, right? Let me just be honest with you. If you're scared of targets, I think that what you want to do is just find the roles in marketing that do not have targets. They have targets, but they're not overwhelming, right? And I think The easy ones are copywriting. Copywriting is understanding structure, right? That's all about copywriting. It's understanding structure. Like there's so many. There's so many structure types, right? And knowing how to tell a story, knowing how to carry people from point A to point Z without losing them midway, right? So, and there are so many tools out there to help you. But do you want to do copywriting in this era of AI where there's so many tools, numerous tools? So you want to look at it, but I don't think, John. I think thinking this way is even wrong. Don't think this way. Think about all the opportunities in, because this is the smallest thing to worry about. But let me allow Shemilori address it in case he has other POV. Shemilori, are you there?
Yeah, oh, yes, I mean, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, so let me read. Okay,
Is
so
John. Shemilori, we can't hear you.
so as a pro in your field, you need to, what's the word? Lay out your path. So if, for example, now we see we want 1 billion downloads in 6 months, you know, you ask the why first of all. Why do we need these numbers? What's our budget? What's our timeline? And what is the North Star metric of your company? You understand? Then you yourself now set out realistic metrics for yourself based on past experiences or past products. So just today, I was with a founder speaking, you understand, and he said you need to hire for 8 roles in marketing, you know, and I was like, that does not make sense. Sorry to say, you understand, in the sense that he was hiring for 8 different roles that could be 4 different roles or 4 roles
Mhm.
in particular, and they all had similar KPIs. His idea was that the more the numbers, the more the conversion in marketing team. But the idea is that as a pro in your field, you need to set out that okay, Mr. A, in 3 months I can achieve this, and if it doesn't align with your own metric or your own goal, then we'll work together. It's that simple
Yeah.
because you'll be held out as the scapegoat in marketing. You understand? And
Yep.
really, like Priscilla said too, in a JD with KPIs like that, I never accept it. And also, I don't accept things like commission based. I do not accept it because I feel like it's open to being exploited. You understand? So,
Yeah.
if you are a pro in your field, you know trends or numbers that you can make for a product. You understand? And you stick with it. You can move that. Okay, you can do better than this one you've done in the past. No wahala. But regardless, you are the pro in this field. You are being hired
Yeah.
for this role, so you know what you can achieve in this field due to factors like the budgeting, your team strength, you know, structure. Because many a time I say that JDs are influenced by the team structure in the sense that from the CEO to get request from the CEO can take like 1 week before he says approved. You understand? Then let's say, but you said you will do this in 2 weeks. Why? How come? No, you understand. So by yourself, set your timelines, set KPIs that make sense too. By the way, because if someone says you want 1K user and you say you can do 10 users, that's being very very silly. You understand?
Yeah.
So the 1K user
Also,
say you
be truthful with yourself, like in terms of what you can achieve. Like, don't ever overpromise. Like,
thank you
because
because
it's because sometimes when you feel like you're desperate, right? Businesses are going to throw you some type of targets. And what me I always say is, because my role is in growth, so I'm often measured by revenue. So if a business wants me to generate $1 million, I always say that I have to have 8 to 20% of that number as budget, because there's no way $1,000 is going to give you $1 million. Let's be honest and be realistic. No matter how fantastic you are, You know, you gave an instance, Shemlere, of someone spending 800K to give you 10 million naira. Do you
Yes.
understand? That person is following the rule of 8 to 20% of your goal, which is fixed in marketing. Sometimes you overshoot it, but on an average, you spend 8 to 20% of your goal to achieve. Like, that's how you set budgets. Budgets are not just so in marketing when you're setting budget is not something that, except if your business is in a position where they cannot, set that kind of budget, right? So they are setting budget based off what's available. But in an event where you guys have a goal, your goal must drive your budget. Your goal has to decide what your budget is. So it is part of knowledge. It's part of the knowledge you would get when you're learning to immediately counter it and say, "Oh, it's fantastic. Yes, we can achieve that." But the minimum budget for this kind of thing is so that you can quickly hear if these people are looking for you, they want you to achieve this through organic measures, because there is no miracle you want to do with organic. And so I want to tell you guys why organic is not necessarily what will drive you your results. And I will tell you why. You see, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, all these platforms are businesses, right? They have staff that they pay salary. So imagine if everybody on their platform is not running ad. They are just there feeding off organic. How do they make money? So they will always prioritize accounts that run campaigns with them. And so I am forever an advocate of paid ads and organic measures. You do organic efforts, but you have to still spend money to make money. And the more money you spend, the more money you make. Not all the time, because if you give your money to people who don't know how to multiply cash, they will burn it. Or I'm just like speaking in the real sense of it. So in cases where I think John, you just need to recalibrate your mentality around this thing and know that nobody can see maybe don't worry. You see, the unrealistic targets used to be the myth in marketing. Maybe the marketers of that time when we were young, we were working in banks, and they used to give them unrealistic targets, and then they have to break their backs to get customers to put 100 million in their accounts and leave it for 3 months. Those ones. But in this era of tech, when it comes to marketing, I think you can negotiate your way into achieving these things. So what is most important is acquiring the skill, right? Acquiring the skill, then you niche down, right? You niche down and apply for roles. And if someone is giving you something like this, these are corporate bullshit. Pardon my my language. So if someone is presenting such thing to you in that interview, please don't take the job and then from that interview immediately counter it and say, "Oh, now these goals are possible." It's just that you need to know that there are standard practices to achieve these things. So you can even know if you are entering a serious company or not. Right. So I think, John, I think we've done justice to that. So
Yeah.
sorry, someone is asking, Shimle, did you say something?
Yes, yes. To add to what you were saying,
Yeah.
just to do this morning, I was talking with the founder again, and he
Yeah.
was like, he wanted my help with growth marketing, but he wants me to also help them with ads. And I'm like, I don't know ads. I can run
Mm-hmm.
ads, but I can't
Yeah.
guarantee you conversion. You understand? And I
Yeah.
was like, why aren't you being like, you were like, why are you being on it? I'm like, that's just it. I cannot lie to you to get a job from me. You understand?
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. I can run ads, awareness ads, everybody will see it, but I can't guarantee conversions. If you want that, get someone that will tell you with 200K, give you 2 million naira, no wahala.
Yeah.
You understand? So
Yeah.
that way, it just makes more sense to being like honest and realistic with what you want. And he said, okay, no wahala that you would call me back. And he comes back with an offer. This same today. But now in the offer, I will not have to do arts because I don't want to do it because I don't like doing it or I don't know how to do it. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So as a staff or marketing or whatever, you need to realize that you have the skill. That's why you're in the interview. You
Yeah.
understand? If you're not good enough, you will not be there. Because I assure you, HRC will many CVs every day. So for you to reach the interview stage of any job or anything, it means that you're good to an extent. You understand? So you are the pro in what you are doing. Give them, I won't say trust, give them pathways on their KPI and their metrics on how you can achieve it and what you can achieve realistically. You understand? And also ask questions, your North Star metric, your team size. Because I was once reached out to and I said that I'll be there the marketing and I was doing person in the marketing team.
Yeah.
You understand? I was doing copywriting, I was doing SEO, I was doing ads, I was doing biz dev. It was 4 years ago, yes. All at the same time. You understand? But you see someone HOM, you're happy with yourself. But no. So if things go bad, they'll sack me because I've promised and I'm being burnt out on many roles. So in a nutshell, like Priscilla said, you just need to have your skill set down, know the metrics in your skills that you can pitch to the end user or to the product owner or the founder, and say this is how you truly can go. However, you're open to aligning with their goals and visions based on this, as she said, the ad budget, this and this, to see how you can come close to it. Whenever I promise, because if you do, I assure you, in startups, sales sacked, marketing sacked. This is like, let the app be crashing. They'll sack you before the engineer, and that's just being real about it. They say, you said you not push properly. You know how it works, Priscilla. So that's
Yeah, but
yeah.
me, I've always been at a point where I defend my team like mad. Like I'm right there in the conversations. Maybe now that being like in a senior role or whatever, but I just really, and plus I'm not even too neck deep that I'm okay with leaving, to be honest, because I know that it cannot be my fault. That's how much I put into my work. So if anything is really affecting sales or revenue or whatever, it might be that all the drivers that I need to get that result are not given to me,
Thank you. This gives
right?
me my point of where I worked in Texas. You know, I told you about earlier.
Yeah.
So for context, it is as big as Nigeria, one state in America, Texas. So I was given a $500 ad budget for
Is that daily?
a month. You know exactly.
That's
So
crazy.
imagine that competing in Nigeria for $500, for example.
Oh,
You
but
know,
okay, but what was how much was the product?
it was about $25.
Oh, that's crazy. There's no, that can't do anything.
Yeah. So I told them, it cannot work. They said no. I said, this product is common in Texas, right? Number one. Number two,
Yeah.
people in your space are spending 2,500 on ads.
So
Only
that
on,
means leads are already even expensive. So
so
how do you want to share your $500?
like I think we're doing I think $150 per lead at the point, because it's high value clients you have to get.
Yeah, so it means that because I would assume that an average client that would pay $2,005 would mostly cost between minimum of $10, right? And that's if the market is not even oversaturated, right? If the market is oversaturated and you have big players, see, you can't even get you can't get three solid leads with $100.
I said
It
we
is
did
always that crazy.
I said we did 3 leads for $50 per lead. Was that high? Because it's the high.
Yeah,
So
because you say you have 800 competitors. That's
yes,
crazy.
in the same city. So not even the whole America, in the only in
Yeah,
Texas. So I was like, Mrs. This, I can't work like this anymore. I need
yeah,
more money to push the brand. And
yeah.
he said no, and I left. I didn't, like because
And the
later
thing
this.
is, they would actually hire someone. So one thing, why I don't flinch when it comes to decisions like this, and like I said, oftentimes people who don't have ideas about marketing always feel like they can do your job better. And they always think it's all about creating a post and just posting it and getting customers to come in and buy. Now, when they let you go, right, and they bring in, let's say, a consultant, number one, they pay more. That money that could have been used to cushion the budget, right, and drive results, they will pay more just to hear somebody say the exact same thing I've said, right? So because I also enter businesses, like businesses hire me to help them review their process. The person I signed yesterday, I'm really just going to be reviewing their process and helping our upskill our team, right? From July to December. It's not a full-time job. It's just that every Saturday I need to have a call with that team and upskill them. So I can also go to those companies and give them English and say, "Oh, your team isn't working. This is what to do." So sometimes these are the things that happen in marketing. But then, if you have confidence in your skill, which is why it's important to actually skill up, if you have that much confidence in your skill, you wouldn't really flinch at actions, that people, because you wouldn't even have one thing that you're banking on, right? You have a 95 and you probably have your own personal clients as well. So you're never really stranded. So you want to think about, and that's why it's important for you to build in public, because that way people also know about your skill. And so you have people reaching out to you naturally. You would see, that's why I don't know if you guys know this Ade girl. I think she's popular on LinkedIn, on Twitter. People are always like dragging her sometimes because what she's saying, and she's making money off people because she's constantly saying, learn this. All of these skills are in marketing. Why do you think people are constantly, talking about these skills in marketing? It's because like the demand is high, very high, right? Like very, very high. So you don't want to now start thinking about the possibilities of not getting job when you have not even started. So believe me, you'd get a job for sure. And target is the least thing that you want to worry about. So I want to go to Ismail's. I hope I'm pronouncing your name well. Ismail's question. It says, as a software developer, how can I market my skill? So I don't think you need to go and learn marketing to market yourself. I think what's important is you want to consider your employers or the people that you're looking to attract. You want to see them as customers. And it means that you want to constantly put your best foot forward and communicate your values to them. So you want to communicate your skill, which is the value in this case. You want to communicate your skill to them and come from a point of competence. So talk about the projects that you have built in the past. You can even create like a challenge for yourself, right? The most important thing is that you want to speak to them like you're speaking to your customer, right? And your product is your skill, right? So what do you want to say? You're not outrightly telling people that I'm looking for someone to hire me, but you're coming from a point of um helping people to understand what you're able to do. When you're able to establish that, please note that one post is not enough to let people know what you do and what you can do. It's not about posting just one LinkedIn posts. I am a developer. No, 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 no. It's consistency. Like people will constantly read from you. I remember when I was doing my 30 days challenge, I said rev up so much that I personally got tired of seeing that word. So you want to be in people's faces to a point where if they shut their eyes and they hear your name, that thing is what comes to their mind. Ismail is a software developer. So when you're able to establish that, you now start communicating your values. Now, your values in this case is, why are you better than another software developer? What are the things that you take into consideration when it comes to building a software, right? Do you take the extra step of, you know, um, maybe designing your client's brief before going straight into work? Like, it could be the little thing, little differentiator, right? So you want to look inward and see what makes you different, right? I know it sounds cliche, but then you just have to look at the thing that makes you different, right? right, from every other person. And if nothing makes you different from every other person, just constantly talk about how you work. Let people be a part of your journey, right? Let people be a part of your journey. Let people see how you think about, you know, your developments. Like what's your thought process before you go into coding, right? Before you go straight into the coding, what exactly what are the steps you take first, before you go straight into it, right? I think people are interested in the behind the scenes of so many things. So, as far as your own is concerned, I really think that it's more about how well you put yourself out there and how well you involve people in your projects. So, that's how you can actually engage people. Because if people see how you think about things and how neat your process is, when they have opportunities or when they are looking to, even at random, it could be people that are following you, when they see an opportunity, because they've constantly seen your work, they will recommend you in the comments, right? So I think, to be honest, that's how to market yourself as a software developer. But Shimile, is there a is there a
A
different
contrary,
opinion?
I'm fully with you on that. However, I'm trying to understand Gideon's question. I'm not sure.
Okay,
I
Gideon, you
Yeah,
said you were talking about if an institution has detailed course outline, then got I presumed because you didn't complete the statement, I will appreciate if you can. Okay, so I think he was talking about, when making a decision on where to learn marketing. So I said that you want to consider the course content, right? Course content is what are the things, what's in the curriculum, what are the things that they are looking to teach you, how comprehensive is it? Because if you're going to spend money to learn marketing, because you can actually get this skill on YouTube, so whatever is going to make you put out cash to learn this thing, it better be comprehensive enough that at the end of that learning, what will you take? Like, is there something that you can pinpoint as to, oh, I worked on this project, I grew my friend's business from this to this? Like, it has to be something that you can itemize in terms of the value for the course. And the only way you can tell the value of a course, at least assume the value of a course, because someone can create a very impressive curriculum, and then when you start the class, they don't give you like what you want. But I think that where you can get, like, the key things you just want to know is how deep are they going. You can even ask ChatGPT. To be honest, consider ChatGPT your assistant. Ask it that if you were to pick a course in marketing, what are the key things that that course has to have for it to be a detailed course for you, right? And then it's going to give you pointers. So you can actually look through course curriculums or course content outline to see if it's comprehensive enough for you to actually like launch out a career, in marketing. So I don't know if that answers Gideon's question, but I'd like to. Yeah. Also, how international recognized they are. I'm of the opinion that these things don't matter, Sha. Because when I was splurging money to go and learn from one place that it was expensive, it didn't matter. Nobody asked me anything about. It was a case of, do you can you do the job, right? But Gideon, if you want to learn, let me chip in. You can learn from Dario Datayo. You know why? Because Dario Datayo gives their top students internship opportunity after paid internship, right? Paid internship opportunity to their top five. And that's what we do across all of our pathways. So I think marketing is new. Yeah, I'm the first person to teach marketing in direct attire. So you can reach out to us, but you don't necessarily have to do it with us, right? I don't want you to think because we're having this conversation you are obligated, but you can look around. But if you want to decide on what program to take, please look at have a conversation with ChatGPT and tell it that, okay, if I want to have a globally relevant career in marketing, what are the key things that should be in the course that I want to take, right?
that,
So it
that's
would
a free,
itemize it.
that's a
Sorry.
free that's a free AI prompt you just dropped for them now.
Abi, you see now, I should be selling prompts. Yeah, you want to put it there because what AI will do for you is also to make it AI proof, right? So it's going to put things that are relevant for you as a marketer in an AI era, right? Which is very important. See, if there's anything you want to take away from this call today, guys, is that whatever action you are taking within the tech space or career within the tech space, it needs to be AI proof. Like, there's AI is not going anywhere. Businesses are obsessed with AI. Companies are getting obsessed with AI. So you also need to protect yourself and arm yourself with necessary skill within the AI space. I think we were able to handle everything. Thank you so much, Shimiliri, for a very fantastic session. I think it's very engaging, impactful, knowledgeable, and I'm so grateful that we had this conversation today. I know that when people are having like replays of this session, because I know people would come back and listen, and also we're putting it on YouTube. I hope they're able to like take the values out of it and apply. Similarly, before I tell people to reach out to you, are you open to people reaching out to you to ask you questions on LinkedIn?
Yeah, on LinkedIn, yes. Yes, on LinkedIn,
Okay.
yes. Not their
Okay.
calls, oh. On LinkedIn, it's fine.
To be honest, I actually don't even like calling people.
Same
So
here.
um if you guys have any questions, like follow-up questions for Shimluri or myself, you can find us on LinkedIn. Find Shimluri on LinkedIn at Oluwasemiloore Akoni, and you can connect with him and ask him questions. Of course, let's be very polite. Don't come from a place of entitlement, you know, and ask your questions. And I'm sure he will be more than willing to answer. You can also push your questions to me on LinkedIn. My name is Priscillia Otukoya, and I'll be happy to, answer every question, any question that you may have.
Yeah, so
Thank you guys so
to
much for.
round up, sorry, Priscilla, just a quick
Yes,
one.
please.
Please,
Yes.
just to let everybody know that this skill is not a get rich scheme. Oh. Like you
Ah,
just
sorry, Shimla, we can't hear you. I'm not. I'm struggling to hear you.
like, can you hear me now?
Yeah,
So I said this marketing is not a quick or get rich scheme to make money on
career.
this. You
Yeah,
understand? Because you need to be very curious, consistent, and you're willing to learn always. You understand? And as a newbie in marketing, if you have a CV that is not well polished, no wahala, just start. So the key thing is to start, then show your work and build as you grow. When you do, don't
yeah,
worry, things will line in time, basically. Because I've been there for 5 years now, but I started having my phone this year. You understand? So that's working for 5 years straight without phone, and finally now having my phone. So it's not like in 1 month we get a gig of 1 billion naira. No, you build and you grow slowly or fast. So, but you need to always
yeah.
have to learn properly. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, Emily. I wanted to add to that how big you grow in marketing depends on how loud you get with talking about what you know, right? To be honest, you can't be in the closet. You can't. I did that in the past where I'm just trying to be humble and all of that. I'm trying not to toot my own on, but nobody's going to toot your horn for you. And marketing is all about how much you have achieved in the past. So if you don't speak about your achievements, nobody knows about it, and nobody can vouch for your achievements. Do you understand? Nobody can vouch for the things that you have done or the things that you have built in the past. So you want to be as, of course, you're not boasting. It's not coming from a place of pride or anything, but it's that you're speaking about the milestones you've achieved, and then you're just getting people, you're letting people know more about your career. Think about it from that angle, that you're telling a story about your career. Oh, today we're able to do this. I got my first 100 customers today. I got my first, talk about your failures as well, because these are the things that humanizes you, right? If you don't speak on your failures, right? It just sometimes looks like you're just coming to bamboozle everyone. So every one of us has failed. I think during my 30 days challenge, I actually spoke about, some failures that, I encountered. And oftentimes in marketing, the reason why you fail is because you have ignored data at one point, or because you're testing something new. When you're testing something new, you would fail because you really don't know what would work. So until you do so many tests and you figure out what works, especially if you're even like in marketing, see, your first few months in a new company might not pick up immediately because if it is a new product, you're just learning about it, especially if the business doesn't have historical data that you can use to make decisions. So bottom line is, to not be shy, speak on it even as you're learning, let people, you know go with you on that journey, build in public, and also like don't be too carried away about talking about it. Actually learn it, like be into it, be immersed in the whole marketing thing, because once you know marketing, you already know marketing, like it becomes a part of you, right? And the most important part of marketing is often the first few classes. And I think the first few classes are usually around customer psychology. Once you pass your customer psychology class, there's nothing else you need to know. Every other thing is routine, is structure. Oh, how to set up campaign on Meta, how to set up campaign on Google. They are just setups. The concept of marketing is often your first few class, right? And once you can think like a marketer, everything just, comes easy for you, right? It's a tedious career because there's so many steps that you need to do, but the job gone, 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 gone. I personally think marketing is easy. It's just that there's too much to do in terms of hands-on actions. And thank God for AI. Things are being simplified, and like I said, marketing is more of your own brain, right? The actions at what are being simplified, not the thinking part of it. Don't outsource your thinking for AI, right? So I hope we're able to like get value from this session today. Thank you so much, Shimilori. I feel like words cannot put in place how much I appreciate your presence on this call today. Um, Please, I let you publicly let you know that if you also have a session like this, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. Um, I will be happy to, return this favor. Thank you so much, Amiri. Are you here? Thank you so much for joining the session, guys. Thank you so much for also like sticking with us. It's over 2 hours. We're like 1 hour over the plan, right? I think it's because we're enjoying the conversation. So I think John, Shimilere dropped a flow for you. You said pinpoint solution and value proposition. That's actually the workflow you should use to sell yourself, right? You want to address people's pain points, you want to talk about the solution, and you want to say your own value proposition, your unique identifier, like what sets you apart, you know. Yeah. So guys, thank you so much. Shimilere, thank you.
I'm a Priscillia.
Bye everyone.